Hello everyone. From this video, we will be starting working with databases. In this video, we will see how can we configure our DB connection in our application. Okay, let's get started. So first of all, let's open our env file. You can find a .env file in your Laravel project at the root. In here, you can find some environment variables, like here is a DB variables. You can see here is a variable called DB connection, DB host, port, database, username and password, right? Now, for connecting our app with database, we have to first of all mention our connection name. So in this project, we'll be using MySQL as our database. You can configure your database with other databases also, like Postgres or SQLite. In that case, you have to mention your database name, as like we mentioned here is already mentioned MySQL. Okay, here is the DB host. You can see here is a localhost IP here, and here is the port. Here will go the database port, and these are the most important one. You can see here is a DB database. You have to put your database name here. DB username, you have to put your database username, and here is the password. Okay, and if I go to the config folder, as I told you in previous videos, in config folder there are many config files from Laravel. You can find a database.php in here, right? If I open it, from here we can configure our database also. Like in here you can see the connections. In connection we have SQLite, MySQL, PostgreSQL, then more, right? Currently we are using MySQL. For now we will use only env. We don't need to configure anything in our config file. Now let's go to again env. Why is the env? Here it is. So here now we will connect a database in our application. For that, let's go to our Laravel. In Laravel, you will find a database feature here, right? Make sure you are running your server, otherwise it will throw an error. Now let's click here. After clicking, you will see a pop-up. You don't need to do anything here. You can see host name, username, password. You don't need to change anything. Just click on open, and that gonna open database manager for you. Let me make it big. Now here, from here you can create databases, right? This manager is same to same as PHP If you work with PHP, you have known that we use a database manager for handling our database. Majority time we use PHP for that, but so we will use Laravel's one. For creating a database, if I close it again and let's open database again, you can see here is a session name. My session name is Laravel. I can create new one if I want to. So currently I am accessing that one. If I open again, it will take me to the manager. So you can see here is the session name. On here I will click right button from my mouse, right? After that you can find a option create new, and here you can find database, right? If I click here, that will show me another pop-up. In here I can specify the database name. Let's say I will name it Laravel. Sorry, the name will be in smaller case, Laravel test. So I will create a database called Laravel test. You can see here is the comment, SQL comment, that will create a database for me. After that I will click OK. and in here you can see we have a new created database, right? So now let's go to our VS Code. In here, in database name, we will replace this name with Laravel test. Okay, and the password username will be root. If I go again to my manager and close it and open it again, in this pop-up you can see the user is root and the password is blank. So same wise, in our Laravel app we will say the DB user is root and the password is blank. Okay, that's enough for just connecting our application. Now let's check if our application is connected to database or not. If I go to my DB manager, if I select Laravel test, that the database we created, you can see the database is empty, so we can't call any kind of data from here to understand that database is connected or not. But there is another way to test your database connection. For that we will go to our terminal. In here, previously in a video we talk about tinker command, right? So we will use Laravel tinker for testing our connection. Let's say php artisan tinker. Okay, that will enter us in tinker shell, right? Now we will say db : and then we will call a static function connection, then we will access get pdo function. Okay, now what is db? Db is a facade. We will work db later on, don't need to worry. Now if I run this code, enter, and you can see we are getting some response from here. We are getting a pdo instant here. That means our application is connected with the database we just created. Now if I just rename this database like this, now if I try to run this command, let's clear it up and exit from the tinker. I will run tinker again, forget the recent changes. If I now run this command again, you can see we are getting an exception. It's saying unknown database Laravel. Okay, so our database name is Laravel test, Laravel dash test, right? Now let's exit again and run the tinker command again. Now we will say get pdo, and you can see we are getting an instant again. That means our application is currently connected with our database. So from next video we will see how can we create migrations, modules, and how to work with seeds and many more. For this video that's it. I hope you understand how can we easily connect our database in our application. See you at the next one.